Hi folks, I'm back with another video. Alrighty, so I'm back. So today is actually Tuesday, and I'm very happy about it because tomorrow I'm off, and I have a feeling I'm going to get one of these books read. Alright, so there's a total, if you count the 3 books that are right over here, I have a total of about 48 books that I really want to get down to 0 by the end of the year. And I will tell you, when you hit that 50% mark on a book, I don't care if you hit it in a physical edition or an ebook, it's a huge accomplishment, and it's like, wow, I did it. I hit that 50% mark. So, yesterday, I went to work. I got some reading done. I read chapters 21, 22 to 3, 24. I'm on chapter 25. I hit the 50% mark. I'm on like 52% in. And you can tell from it that I am a little bit over the halfway point. I'm at 52%. I am going to say I really am digging this book. I'm like, dang, why did I wait so long to pick up this book? So, I'm very happy about it. I will probably read like 5 more chapters or 6 more chapters. So, I will be on chapter like 31. And then when I go to work, I'll read like 31 all the way to 35. And then I will just have about, let's see here, I'll have like 11 more chapters to go. So I definitely will have this book read by tomorrow, and I'm very, very happy about that. One of the things that I like about this book, besides the fact that I own it and I can do whatever I want with it, is that I feel like that when you sit down and you read a physical book, that whatever reading abilities that you have, you're forced to use them. You're forced to use them. And what I've been doing is I have been thinking a lot about like what I've been reading and about the characters and about how crappy their lives are and how naive our main character is and everything. And what's interesting, and this is a very interesting point, that kind of makes me kind of wonder about this character that we're with. She's a painter. She paints these beautiful, images and things. But the slaves that his family owned, and that's what they were slaves, they went to the mortal world. And they most likely had relations with people. And so I'm kind of wondering, is she kind of related to one of the slaves? I'm just kind of thinking about that. And that's a great thing about, like, when you sit down and you read a really good book, you kind of are thinking about these characters and their motivations and all the stuff that they are doing or were forced to do. So I am really, really loving this book. The biggest one, the chunkiest one, is going to be Rhythms of War by Brandon Sanderson. I'm not really a fan of the size of this book. I'm not talking about the thickness of the book, but I'm talking about the size of the book. I am at 49% of this book read, and I'm reading it on my e-reader because I have a digital copy of the book. And with how small the words are in this book, I had no choice but to get it as a ebook. Um, and in this one, the queen has been captured. She has surrendered, and now the opposition, they want the Radiant Knights to be killed one by one. So we have our favorite main character who's trying to get out of the tower with his life, and I must say, loving the book, absolutely loving the book, and I'm currently on chapter I'm chapter 45, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. When you go and you read a chunk of a book, because I have the fourth book, no, I have the fifth book in the series. That is a big one too. I definitely want to read it as a physical edition, not as a digital edition, because I've been hearing very bad things about Wind and Truth, about how it just felt like that it was rushed. I just feel like that we have authors that we have turned their work into byproducts of sweatshops. And it sucks because you have an author that has made your publishing house a boatload of money, and you want to rush his work out as fast as possible. I just no. This is why I'm glad I'm an indie author. I can decide when I start a project, I can decide, I want to take a month-long break from writing the book. And so, it's kind of really great to be able to do that. But anyways, 49% of this book finished. I should be hitting 50% later on today, because when I get up, I will be reading all three books. Dune, The Court of Thorns and Roses, and this book. But as I get done with each book, I'm going to be like, okay, I've got this many books left. And it's going to be annoying as hell to me saying, oh yeah, I've got this many books left. But I think it's important to realize that these are necessary, because I know a lot of people are going to be like, okay, let's see if she can actually do this. I already know what books I will read next just by looking at the books I've got. And that is going to be interesting. I definitely want to read some of the more faster reading books, like the Fear Street books is extremely fast to read. I will say this: if I have a day off and I'm sitting down and I've just started reading a Fear Street book, I will most likely have the book done by the end of the day. That is just how quick they are. I think when I get more into summertime and I start really tackling the thicker books, I think that it's going to really slow down a little bit. But other than that, I don't really see any kind of, difference. I'm not. There is actually one book I will not be tackling this year, and that's going to be Blood and Salt, which is a book that has vampires on the Titanic. You know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. Because I actually have a book, I think it's called Birth of the Vampire. I could not get it as a physical edition. It absolutely was 100% digital. So, I don't think I got to actually read Birth of the Vampire to read Blood and Salt. But you never know. You never know. You never know. But yeah, so I probably will read that book next year. I'm not exactly certain, but I definitely know this year I will be reading Birth of the Vampire, and hopefully I will enjoy it, because I spent money on it, and I do want to, hopefully I can enjoy it. Anyways, let's see what else. Yeah, so for people that don't know, I got fantasy, I've got mystery, and I got horror/thrillers. when I am done reading all of my fantasy books, I will have a total of 14 books left to read. Um, and that's going to be a lot better than a lot of people, a lot of people's fantasy TBR. Some people have like fantasy TBRs, and they are like insanely like large and everything because, you know, they have to get every single book out there. I told my brother, because he wants to get a Billy bookshelf to put my horror slash thriller books in there, and I'm actually going to double, like, double them. I'm going to have like books in the back and then books in the front, and I'm doing that because I want to maximize my my space. Um, Also, when I'm done reading all of my thriller and horror books, I probably won't buy any more horror books unless they're like Fear Street books. So in my room, I'm going to have primarily like fantasy and cozy mysteries, and that's what I'm going to have. Um, but yeah, I am really really excited about doing that and everything. So, anyways, that is my reading part one. As I said, later on today, I will do a part two of the whole thing because, of course, I'm gonna sit down and read more of my books and everything. So, yeah. I'm also going to add like comments about going like 95% analog. I do post videos on TikTok that talk about, like, I'm going to be using my account to talk about the books that I have finished. So tomorrow I will most likely post one about A Court of Thorns and Roses, or yeah, and then Thursday or Friday I will post a video about Dune Messiah. I do plan on to get the third book and read it this year as well, because I'm just having a lot of fun with the story in the series, and I want to continue to read it. I don't want to read it on my device. Alrighty, that is my video, and I will see you next time.